So who here has ever made a wish? And who here has ever been told that your wish will never come true if you tell someone about it? Well, I'm here today to tell you the opposite. And in fact, when you think about it, it's kind of a silly idea. If you really wanted something for your birthday, let's say your favorite band's coming to town, and you really want concert tickets, would you expect your family and your friends, anyone who likes you enough to get you a present, to know you really want these tickets telepathically? Or would you rather go out there and tell them, hey, you know, I really like their drummer, their singer's pretty cute, I really want these tickets, my birthday's coming up. Which would you say is more likely to get your wish to happen? Probably the latter. So for this reason, I'm going to say that your wishes will only be able to come true if you tell someone about it. Now, today, I want to tell you guys about a wish that I made, and it's in the process of coming true more and more every day. But it started with me telling someone about it. But before I do, I want to give you guys a little background as to who I am. You see, growing up, I've always had a passion for nature. I love being outside and identifying leaves, and I stay up to the wee hours of the night reading animal encyclopedias. I liked playing in the dirt more than watching TV. So because of my passion for nature and the environment, as I grew up and I realized there were issues like pollution and climate change, I always felt a sense of duty towards these things. So that said, I always have this kind of frame of mind going on. And I was flying home from a family vacation and from Texas, and I fought my sister for the window seat, and this is what I saw. A neighborhood like any old suburb, and from miles high in the sky, I imagined, what if this was my house? Sure, a lot bigger, but what if my sister was playing Xbox in the basement? What if my mom was cooking on that stove? My other sister watching Sprout in the living room? What if I was reading upstairs? And I imagined in that house, and above that house, a bubble of carbon dioxide, the byproduct of first world living. And I imagined, what if I didn't just live in that house, what if I lived in all of those houses? What if a family like mine lived in all of those houses? And from miles high in the sky, I imagined that bubble multiplying, and I imagined a cloud that extended for miles and miles as far as the houses did. Up high in the sky, though, I could play God. So I decided, instead of just being engulfed by a cloud, I put some solar panels on a house. Just like that. And the cloud went away. And I did it a couple more times, and the cloud started going away, and I got really excited about it, you know? Like, hey, that's pretty cool. So I turned to my sister, and I said, hey, Megan. She pulled out her earbuds, listening to Maroon 5, probably. And she's like, yeah, Krissy? I said, Megan, I wish these houses had solar panels on them. She kind of looked at me like, okay, that's nice. I'm going to go back to listening. But I kept thinking about it because I was really excited. I made a wish. So when I got off the plane, I kept thinking about that wish. And I kept thinking, well, how could I get more houses to have solar panels? So I thought, what if I started a nonprofit? What if I could get solar panels to people who couldn't afford them, but who were leaders in their own communities? So that way, they could inspire their neighbors to get solar panels. And I got to thinking, okay, who's a leader? And I thought of my grandfather, who's a firefighter. He would spend his hours help saving people from fires and feeding the rest of the house. But he also had to work 2-3 other jobs on top of being a father in order to pay the bills. So I said, okay, what about firemen? Well, what about veterans? What about teachers? Maybe police officers? You know, anyone could be a superhero, really. Let's let the communities decide. So I thought, okay, I like the sound of this. I'm going to start a nonprofit where communities are the focus. And that way, they can come and fundraise and recognize their own heroes, and they can learn about renewable energy and energy independence, and they can help their hero get solar panels, and maybe they'll think about getting solar panels, and maybe I'll plant a seed and it'll spread. I like the sound of it. So I made a wish, and I started telling people about it. I went to my mom and my teachers and my siblings and my dad and my softball team and my school's environmental action committee. I told a lot of people who cared and a lot of people who pretended to care all about this great idea I had and how I really wanted to do it. And the funny thing is, that's when the magic started happening. The more and more I told people about it, the more people would come up to me and say, hey, Krissy, you know, your school's alumni network's really broad. I bet they know a lawyer. I bet you could find someone to help you incorporate and become a nonprofit. So I said, okay, great idea. And someone else had approached me, you know, Krissy, my company needs to donate a few $100s this year to write it off on our taxes. We'd love to donate to your cause. It's very in line with our mission. Okay. We go to the unemployment office, and the leader of the veterans branch, you know, I really like this idea. I have a group of young men who'd be great, qualified. Let me put you in touch with them. You can get their opinions. Okay. So the more I told people about it, the more not only were other people looking for opportunities for me, but the more I was aware of looking for them for myself. And you know, here I am today. Or last week, actually. This is me sending in my papers, my articles of incorporation. Now, the nonprofit is called Honoring Our Mother Earth, Inc., with its first project, Solar for Our Superheroes. I like the sound of it. So, this was last week, and I've been busy doing a lot of other things. I made a wish, I told people about it, now I had to follow through. So now I spend a lot of my days sending emails and going to schools, trying to recruit summer volunteers, connecting with veterans groups, and selling chocolate bars on the side. I'm working on the Facebook page, reaching out to people who are good at marketing, people who want to help me with the logo. It's a full-time job. And that's what the hard part comes in, to be honest. I made a wish, and I've told a lot of people about it, and I started doing something about it. But following through can be really tricky when it's a full-time job. So, I'm a student. I have papers, I have tests, I have 3 younger siblings whom I like to be a part of their life, I have a boyfriend in another state, a women's chorus, softball. It's a full-time job just being me. Working, trying to buy a car. I mean, come on. On top of that, trying to make a wish come true. God, it's a wonder I sleep, and the secret is I don't. So, the point is, following through is really hard some days. And on one of those sleepless nights when I wake up in the morning and I'm having trouble getting the will to get out of bed, why am I doing this? Why do I do this to myself? Well, I have 3 quotes that kind of keep me going, and I'd like to share them with you today. The first one is a little dark, but it's be the change you wish to see in the world. And that's by Mahatma Gandhi. It's actually a cardboard cutout of the quote I have posted above my mirror that my cousin printed for me when she noticed I was having a rough day. And this quote, actually, I can best give you an example of someone else who really demonstrates this. You see, I read about this 9-year-old named Milo. And Milo has a quest. He wants to eliminate plastic in landfills through just a simple measure. See, when Milo went to a restaurant one day, he noticed a straw in his cup. And he noticed every time he got a refill, there was another straw. And he noticed in the whole restaurant that all the tables around him, there were straws. And he imagined all of the restaurants in the country, all of the refills in the country. That must be a lot of straws. So Milo, he took initiative, and he decided he wanted to be a change. So every time Milo went to a restaurant, he ordered his drink, like my beverage, no straw, please. And the waitress would kind of look at him like, okay, sure. But he'd get it across. And that was just one example of being a change. The next quote that really helps me is, unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. I'm sure many of you have seen The Lorax or have heard of Dr. Seuss. And this one's very similar to the quote before. See, Milo, he didn't just stop at saying no to straws himself. He started a campaign. He went to his friends and his family, and he told them, hey guys, we use a lot of straws. Why? We're perfectly capable of doing this. So, he started a campaign. It's called Be Straw Free. And then he went viral, and now it's all over the internet. He went to restaurants all over the country, trying to convince them, hey, straw should be optional. We shouldn't just automatically give them one. The reason I share this quote is because, unlike the first one, it gives you more of a sense of duty, more important. Unless you do something, nothing is going to get better. I don't know about you, but I feel pretty responsible when someone tells me I have to do something. And the third quote I just want to share is from Empire Strikes Back, Star Wars, 5th movie. This is Yoda. Do or do not, there is no try. And this is honestly better shown with an example than me explaining it to you. So I'm actually going to call up my friend Eric up here, and he's going to help me demonstrate this. I want to give a hand for Eric. He's a good sport. All right. So Eric doesn't know what I'm going to make him do right now, so it's okay. Now, Eric, I want you to try to take this basketball. You guys see that? You did it. Good job. Okay. Now, I didn't tell you to do it. I didn't tell you to do it, though. I told you to try to do it. So I want you to try to take this basketball. All right. You guys see that? He's not doing anything. All right, Eric, thank you. That was helpful. All right. As you can see, it's not so much a matter of can you do it or can you not do it. It's a matter of commitment. Once Eric knew, okay, I'm going to take the basketball, he took it. And you can try to do something. You can do something and fail. There's an act of trying. But what we need to eliminate is the try in our vocabulary. Because if we say, oh, I'm going to try to email my friend next week, you have no commitment. You're either tell yourself you're going to do it or you're not going to do it. So I've made a wish, and I've told a lot of people about it, and I've done a lot of things to do it, and every morning I read these quotes, and I keep doing a lot of things to get closer and closer. I want to put solar panels on someone's house. But in the end, I realize I either am or I'm not going to. And I've decided I'm going to. But not all wishes come true. And I think that's the reason why in the beginning, when people tell you, if you tell someone your wish, it won't come true, the reason we want to believe them, or the reason I wanted to believe them, was because I was afraid of failing. I was afraid of telling people my wish was, and then looking like a fool when it didn't come true, or when I couldn't follow through. But there's an inherent risk in wishing. And if you're going to wish, you have to accept it. The answer is always no to a question you do not ask. And you will never get a wish you do not make. And that's okay. This isn't my only wish. It's my biggest wish right now, but I have many other wishes. So if it doesn't work out, next year there'll be 18 candles instead of 17. It'll be one more year of experience and one more flame. And I'll do it again. So you make a wish, tell someone about it, I'll do it, I'll keep doing it, and if I have to, I'll rinse and repeat. So thank you.